Today we turn our attention to a track that arrives not with a whisper, but with a glorious pugilistic thunderclap, which is Kujo Beat Down by REN. Now this particular descent into lyrical bedlam and sonic brilliance was chosen by our marvelous patron community in this month's vote. So, to my beloved patrons, my sincere and heartfelt gratitude to you all. Your generosity, your faith, and your continued support are the very ballast beneath this channel's sails. Truly, you are splendid. And for those of you who have been sending through requests via Buy Me a Coffee, I see you, I appreciate you, and I am doing my utmost to work my way through all of the requests with the care and consideration that they deserve. I shall also be releasing a dedicated video explaining exactly how those requests work. So do keep an eye out for that little communique. May I gently encourage you, if you find joy, insight, or perhaps a touch of catharsis here today, to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Such small gestures may seem trifling, but in the curious machinery of bloody YouTube, they are positively alchemical. And if you'd like to support the channel more directly, you'll find all the relevant portals of patronage in the description below. Now, without further bloody ado, let's dive into it, shall we? Okay, so this is, believe it or not, my 31st REN reaction. Yep, time has indeed flown by. Okay, here we go. Kujo Beat Down. Let's see. Reminds me of Sick Boy. She's REN.
Person who was rightly doing right, who was right there on the righteous path, no wrong in words I write. But the forces out there test me, REN. I'm trying to find the path and forgive all those who test my will. There's trouble in my heart. What the fuck, you little pussy? This ain't
well, funnily enough, this reminds me of High REN.
Songs of hope, the cunt took from you. And the last time we did this, the hope did prevail. Now the hope is the road that will choke a bitch pale. No,
very sinister vibe, but I like it.
When you sever the neck, I know the art is a part of your heart, so you're upset. But this hate breeds hate. Please.
Great rhythmic flow.
I'm getting pretty sick of the sick boy, trying to be the it boy, trying to be the I'm so morally equipped boy. Face it, you're mad as fuck, REN. Now let me cut this worm with my razor blade pen.
She's okay. Well, that's a lot to start. Freaking hell. Okay. So the thing that makes this passage, this intro from Kujo Beat Down so utterly electrifying is that REN is not merely writing bars here. He is staging a psychological insurrection in real time. We begin with a voice straining towards moral rectitude, almost liturgical in its cadence. I'm trying to be the person who is rightly doing right. That's interesting, because that's a line steeped in the language of conscience, righteousness, and self-surveillance. It is the sound of a man attempting to remain ethically intact, to walk what he calls the righteous path, even as the world needles and provokes him. But then, with startling ferocity, the rap or the lyrics fracture. A second voice erupts, profane, furious, and contemptuous. And in that rupture, REN performs one of his most dazzling artistic sleights. He externalizes the schism within the self. This is not simply anger. It is the violent rebellion of the shadow against the saint. When he snarls, "This ain't High REN number 2, he is explicitly rejecting the redemptive dialectic that defined that earlier masterpiece. In High REN, hope and darkness wrestled, but hope eventually ascended. Here, that very hope is grotesquely inverted. Now that hope is the rope that will choke a bitch pale." Now, that's a devastating metaphor. That is hope, once salvific, now reimagined as an instrument of strangulation. It is REN telling us that the very virtues that once preserved him may now feel like constraints, suffocating him when rage demands release. And then, exquisitely, I might add, he turns the battle into a moral and artistic argument. One voice pleads restraint. There's nothing to be gained when you sever the neck. Now, that's a line that rejects annihilation in favor of consequence, suggesting that vengeance may be theatrically satisfying but spiritually bankrupt. Yet the counterforce is already too inflamed, too incandescent. I'm getting pretty sick of the sick boy trying to be the it boy. Now that's brilliant because it sounds almost sneeringly self-aware, as if Ren is mocking his own public persona, his mythos, even the performative burden of being both wounded prophet and cultural phenomenon. He is flaying not just an adversary, but the grotesque theater around identity itself. And when he lands on my razor blade pen, that imagery is sublime in its savagery. The pen, traditionally a civilized instrument of truth, becomes a weapon, sharp, intimate, surgical. This is lyrical violence as self-exorcism. So for me, this intro is not just a diss or a burst of fury, it is Ren dramatizing the terrifying moment when the ethical self, the artistic self, and the wounded self all collide in one blistering act of verbal combustion. It is theater, confession, and psychological warfare all at once, and that's what makes him the GOAT. Okay, so, before we continue on, just following off the previous reaction and the last podcast session based off For Joe, a lot of people did ask if I'm okay. I am okay. Thank you immensely for your concern in that regard. It was a very weird one for me because 3 years passed. You think time is a healer, and if anything, it just reveals how much more time we require in order to heal properly. So, if you guys want my thoughts on that, the podcast session is available to you. I will link it in the description, as well as the reaction for Joe. So anyway, I'm doing all right. Thank you so much for your concern, and hope all of you are doing well too. Let's continue. Where does he film all of this? What's... Oh, bloody hell, Ren. Still curious as to who Kujo is.
Hi, Kujo.
Oh, never
Don't try
mind.
to struggle, hear me out. See, I'm on your side, really. Well, I was till I found you could get a little greedy. Push your luck a little far. There's a moral, little Jimmy of the cookie and the jar. See the needy and the greedy, they're just trying to fill a hole. So they take and then they take us all the empty in their soul. They feel so hard done.
These lyrics are very interesting.
When they take from me big, then I'll take from you too.
Okay, that stanza, or verse, whatever you want to call it, was quite telling, and here's why. Okay, so second verse, I'm going to say. So this is a section where, after reviewing the lyrics a second time, this is where Ren becomes truly chilling, because the fury we heard earlier now acquires something even more unnerving than rage, and that is composure. Now think about this. Hi, Kujo, please don't try to struggle, hear me out. Opens like a velvet-gloved threat, almost courteous on the surface, yet unmistakably predatory beneath it. There is something profoundly cinematic about this moment. It feels less like a rap verse and more like the opening monologue of a villain who has already locked the door. So Ren shifts from emotional eruption into calculated dominion, and that tonal pivot is masterful. What follows is a moral parable laced with venom. There's a moral little Jimmy of the cookie in the jar. Now, that is almost a nursery rhyme type of language, quaint, childish, deceptively harmless, and yet That is precisely why it lands with such sinister elegance, because Ren infantilizes Kujo, and he's reducing him from rival to misbehaving child, and in doing so seizes not just lyrical superiority but ethical authority. And Ren casts himself as judge, storyteller, executioner all at once. Then he deepens the analysis with a line of startling psychological acuity. The needy and the greedy, they're just trying to fill a hole. That is not merely insult, that is diagnosis. He suggests that greed is not born from abundance, but from privation, from some cavernous inner lack that no theft, no opportunism, no grasping hand can ever truly satisfy. And again, to me, that is where this passage becomes so brilliantly unsettling. Ren does not merely condemn the act, he anatomizes the hunger beneath it. They take and then they take, and still they're empty in their soul. Now that's devastating because it reframes exploitation as spiritual famine, I think. This is a man not simply attacking an opponent, but exposing the tragic pathology of acquisitiveness itself. Yet any glimmer of compassion is immediately poisoned by the next turn. They feel so hard done by, poor little you. That mock sympathy is exquisite in its cruelty, almost Dickensian in its scorn, really, because it mimics empathy only to weaponize it. And then comes the final line, which lands like a guillotine, really. Want to take from me, bitch? Then I'll take that from you too. So I'll take from you too. Now that is the moment the moral lecture curdles into retributive doctrine. Ren is no longer appealing to fairness. He is invoking reciprocity as vengeance, the whole eye for an eye philosophy delivered with theatrical relish. So for me, my beloved viewers, this passage is extraordinary because it fuses fable, psychology, menace, and moral inversion. Ren begins as if he is offering a lesson, but by the end, he has transformed the lesson into a prison sentence. It is articulate malice, poised, deliberate, and all the more terrifying because it smiles before it strikes. All right then, let's continue on and finish off.
All done by poor little you. Wanna take from me, big? Then I'll take from you too.
That choir is so... It's an epic song, but sinister.
Shut up, slut. You said
Okay.
I thought you said you like it raw. I thought you said she liked it rough. You're a bitch, man. What the fuck? I'm confused by this dynamic. Like it's Bonnie and it's Clyde, but the killing you're committing is career suicide. Whoa, guys, you probably think that this is extreme. I won't lie. Maybe just a little bit mean, you know. I feel a little bad about it, really. Nah, I'm only messing, lad. I love to spank the greedy. Feel me?
Okay.
I hope you wake up sweating from your nightmares.
Pictures
Free me.
becoming-
I'm the sick boy that you enslave. Free me. When you fuck with my
The
word,
pig
you may
mouse.
as well bleed me. I put my whole soul into my words legally. Now a little thief
Oh my
want
gosh.
beef, want steal from me. That's how little thief lose teeth, you meal to me. I'm the subject matter, you are part of the scenery. This is how the sick boy work, you feeling me? Cunt,
Wow.
I'm sick with the pen. I went easy on the
Can
doctor.
you still
He's a
say
friend,
that word
exam.
on
But
YouTube?
if I ever hear your mouth speak the name of Ren out in public, then it's public, you don't want that again. And no warning for your bitch, of a girlfriend too. Mrs. Nice behind the scenes, poor Kujo, boo-hoo. If I ever read another fucking comment from you, then this is only part one, it's even worse than part
Ooh.
two.
Is there a part 2? Wait, I'm curious, is there anything more? Oh, wait, text behind. Let's read this. Oh, okay. The views expressed in this video are for creative purposes. Any issues I have will be dealt with on a personal basis. I do not condone abuse or bullying. Fair enough. Okay, we've come to an end. That ending, though, it's combustible to say the least. Well, the entire performance is. Because now, Ren crosses from moral indictment into full theatrical intimidation. And he does so with a kind of savage, swaggering dramaturgy that is deliberately designed to make the listener recoil and marvel in equal measure. So, my viewers, what strikes me first is that this is not simply aggression for aggression's sake. It is a weaponized persona. The opening is intentionally abrasive, shocking, again, pugilistic in its vulgarity because Ren wants to obliterate any pretense of civility. He is stepping into the role of the unrestrained avenger. The sick boy archetype that we know well has been unshackled. And that matters because this section of the song is not asking to be liked, it is demanding to be felt. Yet even in its brutality, Ren remains uncannily self-aware. You probably think that this is extreme, maybe just a little bit mean. Now that's brilliant because it momentarily breaks the fourth wall. He anticipates the audience's discomfort in a way, and he winks at it, and then immediately doubles down. That meta-awareness is crucial. It tells us Ren knows exactly how monstrous this performance sounds, and he uses that awareness to heighten the theater of it. The line about career suicide is especially potent because it reframes the opponent's actions not as mere theft or provocation, but as self-inflicted professional collapse, a ruin authored by hubris. In other words, Ren isn't merely threatening retaliation. He's presenting the whole debacle as a cautionary tale in artistic arrogance. But beneath all that venom, there is a core of profound artistic anguish. When you fuck with my work, you might as well bleed me. I put my whole soul into my words. Now, that is, to me, the emotional nucleus of the song. That is the line where the bluster falls away and the real wound flashes through. Ren is telling us that his art is not merchandise, not disposable content, not some anonymous digital asset to be pilfered or exploited. It is an extension of his very being. And therefore, to tamper with it is to violate something intimate, almost sacred really. And that is why the threats feel so fevered, because for Ren, this is not just business, it is desecration. And then he reasserts dominance with a barrage of hierarchies. Listen to this. I'm the subject matter, you are part of the scenery. Now, that's a magnificent line, almost imperial in its disdain, because he reduces the antagonist from central player to background furniture, from would-be rival to incidental set dressing in Ren's own mythic narrative. Even the references to others, Dota, the girlfriend, the warning of part 1 and part 2, serve a very dramatic function. They enlarge the world of the conflict, making it feel like an unfolding saga rather than a simple diss track. So this is just my interpretation, but this is extraordinary because it fuses shock tactics, black humor, self-awareness, and genuine artistic violation into one blistering performance. It is not polite, and it's not meant to be. It is Ren turning rage into spectacle, grievance into mythology, and lyrical confrontation into something perilously close to a one-man psychological thriller. That was a lyrical onslaught to me, because I had a lot to dissect there, but Ren really does have a remarkable way of turning intensity into art, and Kujo Beat Down is no exception. Now, I'd love to hear from you lot. What did you make of it? What stood out the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this community always adds so much depth to the conversation. I love doing Ren videos, and I will continue to do so. And if you enjoyed the video, please do like, comment, share, and subscribe. It genuinely helps the channel tremendously. And once again, a massive thank you to all of the supporters of the channel, whether it be Patreon, Buy Me a Coffee, PayPal, YouTube Super Thanks, or channel members. Again, I'm working through all of your requests as best and as efficiently as I can. And if you would like to support Carl the Wordsmith, all of the links are in the description below. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, my dear friends, do be kind, do be gentle, do be respectful to one another, and help one another out when you can. And I'll see you lot in the next video. Take care, everyone. Cheers.